What's up, gang? We're gonna get right into it. This is a new series that I'm doing where I talk about setting up audio, visuals, and lighting for a comedy show. It's a very niche area, and I feel like there's not a lot of people who do it in the mid-range of experience and gear. And I feel like it's not a lot of people talk about setting up audio and visual and lighting for specifically comedy-related shows. So let's get into it. This is going to be, I'm going to demonstrate and talk about a show that I regularly shoot video for and set up lighting for. And I'm just going to walk through my process and how I set up for that show. So the show we're going to be talking about today is Hudson Hill in Denver, produced by Pallet City. Shout out Garrett Nygren. So, all right, we're getting that. Okay. So ideally, you've been to the venue that you're shooting before, or are familiar with the layout. You're going to want to know a couple of things. You're going to want to know, where are the outlets? Can I get to them easily? Can my equipment, do I need to have a battery for my camera? Do I need to have batteries for my lights? What are we working with here? Do they have their own lighting? Do they have, also, like, what background noises are going to be there? Is there a dishwasher going? So Hudson Hill particularly is a cocktail bar, so they're going to be shaking up drinks a lot. And the bar is going to be, and I'll draw a map of the venue here in a second, but you're going to want to know all these things going into it. How much sound is there going to be? How good is the lighting? And where is the audience going to be sitting, so that I know where to point my camera? So let's put audience on there. And how much space do I have? You know, is it super tight? Do I have an entire booth for just me for the camera? I've shot in theaters before where there's an entire section that no one's sitting in and you can just set up right there. I've also shot in theaters where they don't have anywhere for a camera, and you got to just find a space that you can set it up without being in the way, but still get your shot, right? All of these things are super important. How big is it? Like, also, the space of the room matters when it comes to getting the audio. If it's super big, where you're going to put your microphones to get the best audience laughter? Because if you only put them in one spot, if you only have one microphone or one mic on the camera, then you're only going to get a very limited amount of the laughs. But if you have them in multiple spots, you can get a better collection of what the sound actually is. It also matters, like, if you're going to get audio from the board, etc. So let's talk about Hudson Hill specifically. So I've shot this show a handful of times. First of all, it's a very oddly shaped room. You're going to walk in, the door opens like this. Oh yeah, parking. That's a big one. How far am I going to have to carry all my gear? That's a huge thing. All right, so you walk in the door here. There's a big window right here, big plant right here. There's seating area all along here, and then the bar starts right here and comes down. It's pretty big. So this is the bar. Okay. Then, let's see. So there's a table here. This is all just from my memory. I took a picture of it so that I could use it later for this video. But there's a table here. There's an entryway right here that you can walk up to. More table, something like that. And then there's a table here, and then seating right here. This is very unproportionate, but it's what we got. This is more seating. And then there's a kind of a ledge right here. And then this is the stage. It's kind of just this open area right here. And there's another chair right there. Okay. And then bar goes like that. So people are sitting all along this area. People are sitting here. There's bartenders back here doing stuff. There's people sitting here. And the comedian is going to be standing right here. Okay, light coming in from the window, light coming in from this window. There's plants. And then there's a big metal banister and 2 poles. I forget where the other pole is. It's somewhere around here. 2 poles that connect it. And they mostly use it for plants, but it's metal and it's 2 poles and a banister. So this can be used to our advantage. So when you're looking at the room, it's like, okay, it's an oddly shaped, it's an L-shaped room. There's a bar over here. There's going to be a lot of sound happening from right here. So when you're looking at this, I originally set up my camera right here in this area right by where people are sitting, and I pointed it that way, assuming that that would be a good angle. And the other alternative was I could attach a camera to this pole and get a closer look with the Blackmagic. So quickly I learned after the first time doing it that the best place for the camera is right here. And pointing, going this way to the comic. You can still see that okay? All right, let me zoom in a little bit more. All right. So the reason for that is because most of the audience is here, so the comedian is going to be looking out this way, facing that. So that's where I position the camera. You want to position the camera to where it's the most front-on facing person. And for a traditional venue where it's just like stage audience, that's easy. You just go in the center of the room, as much in the center as possible. Boom, you got your shot. But for something like this, it's kind of hard to tell, like, where should I go? Because also you got to consider the traffic of the staff, right? So the staff is going to be coming out here. They're going to be coming out here. They're going to be going this way sometimes. And then they're going to be coming through this entryway. They're going to be coming through here. They're going to be going over here and over there. So they're going to be walking around a lot. People are going to be walking around a lot. Oh, there's also people sitting on the bar like this. So you got a lot of people. You got to consider where you're going to be. So I set up the tripod super skinny, super high up, threw a sandbag on it. Didn't really have any issues because if it's super up high, shorter people can walk in front of it and they won't get in the way of the shot. The only issue is that if somebody comes and tries to talk to me while I'm standing here, then it can pick it up on the audio. There's also tables kind of around in different places. So for this one, the sound is also going to be set up right here on this. So I knew that going into it. No, and that's another point. Know where the sound is. Board location. That's going to matter. Because if you don't have good access to the soundboard, then it's going to be really hard to get the board audio, and it's going to be really hard to know where to set up. So ideally, I would have a recorder attached to the soundboard or attached to the speaker, and I can just sit back here with my Zoom recorder and monitor my Bluetooth mics remotely. But I don't. So I set up the Zoom right next to the board. I try to hide myself back behind the speaker so that people wouldn't see me. Sometimes worked, and so I wouldn't get in the shot. Let's start with lighting first, because that's the first thing that I set up when I show up to a place like this. Set up lighting. So you don't want the lighting to be in the way of the audience, but you also want to illuminate them really well. So what I did is I set up a monopod light here and here, and there's an outlet on this side of the bar right here and right here. So I connect the cord to the outlets. I had to use gaff tape to tape them down, but now we got light coming in on that side and on that side. All right, great. So we got 2 lights coming in on the comedian. Now I need a third light somewhere that can hit them in the middle. Otherwise, you're going to get really bad shadows like right in the center of their face. So what I did on this most recent show is I clamped a tube light, one of these, clamped a tube light to the metal banister and pointed it at the audience. And I realize this is already getting kind of cluttered, but pointed it at the comedian, you get another light source coming in off of there. And I recently just picked up a newer inflatable tube. That's going to be a game changer. Let me me grab it. All right, so this is an inflatable light. It's got magnets on the back, so my plan is to just stick it up on that metal banister, and that will provide enough light to kind of fill in that gap a little bit. So that's going to be huge. Audio, so that's all that you need for the lighting, really. So I got the 2-panel lights, the newer RGB 168, and those can be powered by battery or by cord. Thankfully, I had 2 outlets. It's pretty awkward asking people to plug those in for me, but that's kind of just what you got to do sometimes. That offers all the light that I need, and then they dim the rest of the house lights. Then this whole area is illuminated. Audio. I used to run a XLR mic up to the banister and point it down at the crowd, but now I have the Comica. Let me grab them. Oh God. All right, so I got these Comica Bluetooth shotgun mics, and I talked about that in the gear video. So the shotgun mics, so now since they're wireless, I can just plug the receiver into the Zoom and keep it over there. And then I put a mic on this pole right here and pointed it down at this group sitting at the counter. And then I put another one, where did I put it? I put it over here on the other pole. So I just put one on the other pole and pointed it down at this big corner group right here. Got the mic from the board, and then I also got I took 2 Rode wireless Go's and attached them to this little dual cold shoe mount. So I took 2 lapel mics, stuck them on the cold shoe mount, and I put it on this table right here. I asked them, the people sitting there, if I could mic them. They said, yeah, they were very nice. So I got all the audio coming from this group of people sitting at this table right here. Shotgun mic on the camera pointed this way. So getting audio kind of echoing back from the audience and from the comedians, just kind of an overall room sound. I also put a Zoom H1, it's just a pocket recorder. I put that on the corner of this counter here and pointed it at usually the comics sit over here. So that's another thing to know. Where are the comics sitting? In retrospect, kind of a mistake. Like I wish I would have put the pocket mic like right in the center of the banister pointing at this area. Because a lot of times comics kind of talk to themselves and make noise, and you just don't want that on your audio. So also it was right next to the espresso machine and a bunch of machinery. So I kept getting this vibrating sound on there. Couldn't really use it, but that's why we have plenty of mic options. So there was a lot of sound coming from the bar. Not much you can do about that, but other than just point your mics where you want them. And if they're a good condenser mic or if they're a good shotgun mic, it should only pick up sound that it's pointed at and not the sound surrounding it. But otherwise just throw a noise reduction on there in post, and that's pretty much the most you can do from what I understand. Lastly, what else is there to know about this venue? The metal banister is huge. If you can find like anything like this where it's just a nice like piece of structure that you can attach stuff to, it's brilliant. Or a one that I've been using recently is wherever the thermostat is for the AC and the heat, there's usually a conduit pole attached to that goes up the wall. You can either attach a magnet to that, such as this little magnet with a 1/4-inch thread on it. You can attach a microphone to this and stick it to the pole, or you can use a magic arm clamp such as this one, and you can just clamp it to the pole and then point your microphone wherever you want. So it's all about, when it comes to rooms like this and it's just an oddly shaped room, it's all about minimizing the sound, minimizing the sounds that you don't want and improving the sounds that you do want, and having multiple options to do so. If I could do anything to improve my setup here, I would have a second angle, probably like from the back, like on this little pole here, and make it a wide lens aiming at the crowd. I would also, yeah, that newer inflatable light on this banister is going to make a huge difference with the fill of the face. I would also just keep everything, it's okay if I don't, the Rode mics right here is probably all that I need from this corner of the room. Just getting that laughter from people who aren't in this main section of the show, including these people at the bar. Don't really need them. What we really need is the audio from these people here and these people just in the main show area, because that's where your camera is going to be pointed, and that's the laughter that that's the laughter that the comedian is going to be playing to. So you're going to want that. I would also just get an H1 XLR so I can plug it into the board right here, and then I would keep the zoom with me over here, and I can wirelessly monitor the Kamikas and the Rode Go's. And then if I had a lapel mic on, such as the small rig that I'm using right now, you can't even tell it's there. If I was using the small rig S70, I believe, then I could also plug that into the Zoom. Any Bluetooth mic is a plus. I would also use the Zoom, and I would plug in like an XLR mic, shotgun style mic onto the camera, and just point it at like the back of this group here sitting at the tables, or just somewhere away from what's going on at the bar. So yeah. Oh, also there's a plant on this back area here, and I added one of these little square portable lights, and that really adds a lot of nice ambiance. Anytime you can have an opportunity to add a little bit of color, it's always welcome. So, and yeah, this is what the final result looks like, and I think it turned out pretty well. So hope you enjoy. Check out Palette City on Instagram. Check out all their shows, and hire me for all of your comedian videography needs in Colorado. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoy. Like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.